Hello everyone, this is Marine Blue Angel, and today I will be playing Daughter of a Scoundrel. Now, maybe some of you know that over a year ago I played a demo of this game on my channel, and you're like, why are we revisiting it? We're revisiting it because there's an updated prologue and there are two full routes released, and this is two routes out of six, and it is very exciting for me at least, and I hope you all will be excited as well, that we are going to check out all of these new updates. I will be going through the prologue again because it has been like several months since I've last really seen the story properly, and I will probably be just as surprised about certain details as if I'm reading it for the first time. And I will say, I don't know if you can tell with the excitement in my voice, but I really love Daughter of a Scoundrel. I love the story. I've had the wonderful opportunity to beta test for the game dev and be involved with the project in that way. And honestly, it was a grand time in my life last year just to be able to, really get more details of the story and such. So I'm very happy to be returning to it. I wanted to give myself a little bit of time away before I played it for my channel, or on my channel rather, because, wanted to, get a little bit of distance so my commentary won't just be like, oh yeah, that happened. But anyways, I'm just happy that I'm able to return to this story after a bit of time. But without further ado, let's just get into it because we got a prologue to go through, and I'll keep you in suspense about who is the first person we'll go on their route for. Okay, remember, work of fiction. There are actually, lots of darker elements. This is about the mafia, so, we do have a content warning list, and we should check that out if people are concerned about that. Again, I already read the story, so nothing is going to be super new to me. I'll put yes, just for people who want to, look and pause, but I'm just going to go quickly through. It is not a horror game, that is true. Okay. My name is... I do like Danielle's name. Grandpa. Oh my god, it's Grandpa. What's that smell? The front door shut behind him as he removed his shoes. He took his usual place at the table, deeply inhaling the smell of his favorite breakfast. That smells amazing, Danielle. What's the occasion? Grandpa looking dapper as usual. I'm going to see if I can turn down the music a bit more, only because I did check the volume, but that seems louder than when I was checking. I continued flipping the eggs and sausage in the hot pan, trying and failing to hide my smile. Can't I just do something nice here and there? Look at Danielle, with a little sweater vest and everything. I couldn't blame him for being shocked. It was only a year ago I managed to finally leave my bed again. That was just what grief did, though. It'll suck the life out of you, leaving you a husk as well, leaving you to try and fill a void you never can. I poured him a cup of coffee. He eyed me for a moment as if he didn't know if he should be happy I was more myself, or nervous something might happen. Eventually, he seemed to make up his mind. Grandpa unfurled his paper with a breathy chuckle, a slight twinkle in his eyes as he smiled up at me. Well, if you're sure you don't mind. As always, he kept the dark and heavy, as he liked to call it, to himself. Deflecting with humor became second nature. And are you sure, kiddo, you aren't buttering me up? I rolled my eyes with a good-natured smile and returned to the frying pan before I could burn our breakfast. No, nothing that interesting. I just finished my last assignment, so I'm on break for the summer. Ooh, summer break. I thought it would be a nice way to celebrate by cooking and letting us relax for the day. Plus, Grandpa has been stressed out lately. If this is all I can do to help ease the load from his shoulders, I want to help. Congratulations! Congratulations. Say, why don't we go out to celebrate tonight? I'm sure the guys at the bistro would love to see you again. They all miss you. I immediately felt my expression go sour as I bit down on my bottom lip. All the memories I tried so hard to bury began to flash in my mind. The Scarletta Bistro, our family business. It would be nice to see all the old faces, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet. Each time I even pass the place, I have to choke back tears. All I can see are the times I went with Mom and Dad. I'm slowly getting better with things, but... Grandpa spoke up again after my long silence, his voice a bit softer, as he probably understood my answer without me saying it. But if you're not ready yet, I understand. I just know they wouldn't mind whipping up some of your favorites if you feel up for it. They've been practically begging me to bring you around again. I turned to look at him with a bittersweet smile, accompanied by the familiar feeling of my stomach sinking. I don't know. I'll think about it, okay? He gave me an understanding nod, his features drenched in sympathy. If anyone knew how I felt, it would be him. I may have lost my parents, but he also lost a son. That's fine, kid. You know, though, the bistro has been buzzing lately. Loads of new customers, and we've been getting great reviews. It could even be a good summer job if you want some extra cash. I opened my mouth to protest, but he raised a hand to stop me with a slight shake of his head. In your own time, whenever you're ready. I won't force you to do anything. Will you? Sorry, not to get ahead of myself. I do get Grandpa. Okay, sorry, not to give commentary about Grandpa, but Grandpa more or less is fine. But, things are going to happen. Thanks, Grandpa. I don't know what I'd do without you. I meant it, too. He was my rock, the only family I had left. If it weren't for him, I doubt I'd even have the strength to wake up in the morning. Lucky for you, you'll never find out. I gave him a grateful smile as I moved over to wrap my arms around his shoulders from behind. He chuckled softly, patting my arms that had pulled him into a hug. A familiar ring made us both jump with a small laugh. I gave him one final squeeze and a kiss on the cheek before making my way back to the stove. Grandpa answered his call with his usual smooth tone. Scarletta, what can I do for you? I see. We're going where? For what? I smirked. It was good to know he bombards other people with endless questions, too. It's pretty entertaining when you're not at the receiving end. So the trip will be 3 weeks. Are you sure that's necessary? Okay, I understand. I'll make the preparations. The world felt like it stopped for a moment as my throat went dry. It was like an intense, unwelcome moment of déjà vu. My breathing became shallow and my body froze up. I barely noticed Grandpa end the call, let alone the spatula which had fallen to my feet, as I was unwillingly forced to relive the worst day of my life. Oh, not the flashback. Ooh, okay. Let's get ready. I'm gonna take a sip of water. I slammed and locked the door behind me, throwing a pillow to the ground as hard as I could. The cold floor sent a chill down my spine as I sat with my knees tucked into my chest. There was pounding on my bedroom door that only stopped briefly as I heard my parents whisper to one another. After a few moments of incoherent murmuring, the pounding then turned to gentle knocks. Look, I'm sorry for beating on your door. Won't you let us in to talk? I glared at the door as I crossed my arms defiantly. Even though he couldn't see me, it still made me feel better. Honey, please, won't you open the door? We just want to talk. Oh, they want to talk? Fine. I scoffed as I pushed myself off the floor, stomping over to the door before throwing it open. Their worried gaze was only met with my own cold one. You want to talk? Talk. Don't you dare talk to... I began to shut my door on him again, not in the mood to hear him arguing with me. He was the one to break his promise to me to begin with, which is the only reason we're even fighting. Mom stopped the door from closing with her foot and put a hand on Dad's chest as if silently telling him to lay off and let her do the talking. Don't mind him. You're mad, and you have every reason to be. He broke a very important promise to you, and that's not right. I felt my eyes water slightly as she validated my feelings. My dad sighed, giving a resigned expression. One day, you'll understand. It takes a lot to run a business like the bistro. We can't put off important meetings on a whim. If it wasn't something important, we wouldn't be going. But we're meeting with some associates to discuss franchising and ingredient distributors. We need to manage the business closely, or things will get out of hand. One day it'll be yours, and you'll understand why we have to do what we do. I don't care about the stupid bistro. It can get sold off for all I care. I felt myself begin to explode on both of them, his words only fanning the fire of my rage. All I could see was red, and the words flew out of my mouth faster than I could stop them. I hate you, and I hate the bistro. You always put work over me. Honey, that is not true. It is, and I'm sick of pretending it isn't. You always end up canceling plans with me due to some work thing or another, or just end up forgetting them. Sometimes it feels like Mom is the only one that tries. Dad looked taken aback and hurt at my accusation, but knowing I had hit him where it hurt only made me want to dig in more, to let him feel what I had been feeling over the years. Did you even think about how you promised to spend my 18th birthday with me? Since you missed all my other milestone birthdays? The 16th, 13th, 10th? I bet you didn't, because you don't care. Don't worry, though, because I will hold my breath for the 21st. I was like, where's this line going? All this has done is make it painstakingly obvious where your priorities lie. I failed to choke back my own sobs as they retched from my throat. It somehow hurt more to see the pain look on my father's face and the glossy eyes of my mother. In truth, I didn't want to hurt them, but I also didn't want to be hurt by them. Forgotten by them. They didn't change while I behaved, so maybe they will now. I slammed my door shut once more, flinching slightly as I heard my mother's muffled cries. Throwing myself onto my bed, I buried my face into my pillow, finally allowing myself to crumble. I nestled even further into the pillow as I heard another gentle knock, my father's shaking voice making its way through the door. Oh god, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I already knew this was gonna happen, and why am I crying? Okay, okay, it's fine. I know we've not been the best. I'm sorry, pal. I'll move some things around to make sure we're back in time for your birthday, okay? It won't be easy, but I'll try my best. Then when we're back, let's talk this through. Sound good? I heard him sigh at my lack of response, either due to guilt or the annoyance of talking to a metaphorical brick wall. Now he knows how I feel. We've got to be on our way by tonight. If you want to talk, we're here. Just know we love you, okay? I am actually in tears right now. You can't see me, but I'm actually like, Okay. Okay. Wow, what an emotional scene. The rest of the night came and went without me leaving my room. If I could go back in time and change it, I would. 1,000 times over I would, because that was the last time I ever saw my parents. Bro, how terrible. Soon enough, my birthday would roll around, and as expected, they were nowhere to be found. I remember spending the day alone in my room, cursing their absence, thinking nothing but selfish, hateful things. Then something unexpected happened. The front door creaked open. I felt myself get a bit excited, hoping somewhere in my heart that they kept their promise this time. I even dashed to greet them. But no, it was just Grandpa and a few other men, all in black. I looked between them all in confusion before my eyes finally landed on Grandpa, and I knew. Before he even said anything, I knew. Just by his broken expression and sympathetic eyes, I felt myself drop to my knees as my world felt like it began to collapse around me. Grandpa dropped to his knees with me, holding me tightly against his chest as I sobbed like a baby, and he stroked my hair to comfort me, which only made me cry more. I know, kiddo. Let it out. I'll miss them too. He then began to cry with me, mourning the loss of his son as I mourned the loss of both my parents. At that moment, it was blindingly apparent to both of us that we were the only family either of us had left in this world. You'll be okay, I promise. I'll take care of you. I swear it on my life. We then cried to each other for hours, being the only form of comfort the other had. We only managed to stop once our throats were sore and dry, and everything slowly turned numb. Apparently, it had been a robbery gone wrong, with many others who had lost their lives that day. The lack of detail surrounding it all was odd to me, and left me with a dubious feeling. Something just felt off. Over time, I had come to terms with it. Slightly, anyways. I also didn't want to keep bringing up such a sensitive topic to Grandpa, who was undoubtedly mourning as much as I was. Though, try as I might, I could never shake off the feeling something wasn't right. In truth, I didn't have much time to dwell on it the first few months after their death. I found myself moving in with Grandpa, and had my hands full, helping him manage the assets and estate my parents had left behind. Time from then on was just a blur. Life only started to regain a sense of normality when I began therapy at Grandpa's behest. It was hard to believe that that was only 2 years ago, especially when, even now, I see them in everything I do. Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick. We left the flashback. That's a lot of story going on there. So yes, it's been a while, but not too long, where our main character, Danielle, has lost her parents, unexpectedly. But she didn't really get to say goodbye in the way that she probably would have wanted to. And so that is kind of maybe that context for, her lifeline, like her support system is her grandfather, and, it seems like Grandpa is about to go on a very long business trip, so we're going to see how that plays out. I felt myself slowly come to escaping my own mental hell, but found myself stuck staring at the sizzling eggs in the pan as they browned. I should hurry and get it off the stove. I don't want it to burn. Or so I told myself, but my body wouldn't move. While I had escaped the haunting imagery, I still felt the intense guilt and anxiety flowing through my veins, to a debilitating degree. I should have been nicer to them. I should have told them that I loved them. I should have spent my time with them. I shouldn't have been such an asshole kid. I should have spent that evening talking to them. If I had, then they wouldn't have died thinking I hate them. I felt my shoulders shake slightly as a quiet sob racked through my body, and I fought desperately to not let my now watery eyes spill over. Hey! I jumped as I felt Grandpa's hand on my shoulder. His voice was loud in my ear, as if he had been calling out to me for a while. Oh, Grandpa. I said you're going to burn it, kid. He then gently turned me to face him, seeing my pitiful expression, and gave me a sad smile. I thought the therapy had been helping you. It has. The last year of therapy had been great for me. It had even been a few months since my last outburst, so why now? But then again, nothing had ever made me think about the possibility of losing Grandpa, not until I knew he would be going on trips again. The tears finally spilled over, racing down my cheeks as I choked through a sob. I know it's stupid. It's just a business trip. It's not something normal people worry about. But to me, it makes sense. You lost your parents when they were going on a business trip. You too, Especially it's not just like a little business trip that's like, oh, I'm just gonna, it's gonna be like overnight. It's like 3 weeks. That's a long time. I can't lose you, too. He pulled me into his arms and held me tightly as my voice broke, just like he had every night I had cried since coming here. I felt him reach around me to take the pan off the heat before returning his hand to my back. I know, kiddo. I feel the same way, but that's why I have to go. Understand? He gently pushed me away from him, his hands on my arms, as he looked at my face with an encouraging smile. I know it's hard, but I've been putting these off for the past 2 years for the same reason you've not wanted me to go. You can't lose me, and I can't lose you, and I won't ever let you lose me, kiddo. I made you a promise I don't intend to break. Not now, not ever. You remember? Of course I do. How could I forget? He tilted my chin up to force me to look at him as he brought his other hand up to my face, gently wiping my tears away as I sniffled. I need to go to handle business, but more importantly, prove to you and I that it will be okay. Now, how about I help you finish plating these and we can eat? I nodded, wiping my eyes with the back of my hand before noticing my dropped spatula on the floor. I quickly tossed it into the sink with an apologetic smile. After we had set the table, an uncomfortable silence blanketed over us, neither one of us wanting to think more about the past. This is it, huh? I felt myself sigh for the 1000th time today as I sank further into the couch. I had a whole week to prepare for today, but for some reason, nothing I did could ease my worries. It's just a business trip. What happened to Mom and Dad was a fluke accident. Or so I kept telling myself in vain efforts to ease my insurmountable anxiety. Nothing I did could distract me from my impending doom. Thoughts were very long. Even writing, which I've dabbled in since my parents' death. Something about journaling my days and feelings brought me peace, but even that's wasted on me today. Still worried? I jumped to my seat. I hadn't heard him come in. My reaction only served to amuse him. I'm sorry, kiddo. I thought you would have heard this clunky thing trailing behind me. He motioned to a suitcase that sat next to his feet, and I made my way over to him with a bittersweet smile. I'm gonna miss you, Grandpa. And I you, Danielle. I quickly buried my face into his chest to avoid letting him see me cry. He wrapped his arms around me, squeezing me in a tight bear hug. Grandpa gently rubbed my back as we swayed together. It will be okay. That I can promise you. I'll keep my phone with me at all times, and you do the same. We'll call at least once every morning and every night. Then once it's all over without a hitch, maybe it won't be such an anxious occurrence anymore. I nodded against his chest, still silent, as he placed a kiss on top of my head. He then shoved a small wad of paper into my hand, and I opened it curiously to see what it was. Money. Grandpa, I don't need your... I insist. Plus, you'll need it. For what? As if on cue, the doorbell rang. My head snapped in the direction of the door, wondering who it could be. I wasn't expecting anyone today. Is it already time for Grandpa to go? Ah, there. Right on time. He smiled, winking at me playfully as he moved over to the door, placing a hand on the doorknob. You'll need it because I arranged a surprise for you. Without wasting another moment, he flung the door open dramatically. Oh, Grandpa, the theatrics. And I felt my jaw drop at who had arrived. Morgan! Danielle! Morgan and I rushed at each other with wide smiles, pulling one another into an excited embrace. You told me you were busy. I texted you and asked if you wanted to hang out. I couldn't ruin the surprise. When Mr. S asked me, I couldn't possibly say no. Oh, I can't tell you how grateful I am that you're here. Are you here for the day? She pulled away from me with a playful smile that mimicked my grandpa's. Wrong. Guess again. The weekend. The whole trip. 3 whole weeks. Dang, okay. Well, what part of year is this? Aren't we in school? Oh, I guess it's summer. Never mind. That actually makes a lot of sense. So sorry. I knew it was summer, obviously. That's the only way this would work. Like, in terms of a very long short-term stay. I felt my eyes widen in shock at her statement, looking between her and Grandpa to see if she possibly misspoke. Though, with both of their excited eyes waiting for my reaction, I doubt that's the case. You're serious? Yep. Oh, Morgan, you are the best. Tell me about it. I gave her another tight hug as I felt myself slowly forget the reason why she even came, but Grandpa's footsteps on the floor as he approached brought me back to reality for a moment. Well, ladies, it's unfortunately time for me to head out. Keep your phone on you at all times, and if either of you need anything, I'm only a phone call away. Yep. It sounds louder, so we're gonna do that. Oh, I just skipped something. Okay. Remember, this is a see you later, not a goodbye, okay? Try to have fun with Morgan. You haven't seen her in a while, and she's been worried about you. Yeah, I've not kept in contact as much since the accident. I know. I will, I promise. Good kid. He gave me one final squeeze and a kiss to the side of my forehead before grabbing his suitcase and jacket. He then rolled his things out to the door, giving us a final wave before the door clicked behind him as he left. I didn't even have a moment to collect my thoughts before Morgan threw herself at me, linking our arms as she excitedly began speaking. I have so much to tell you. It's been forever. But I'm not going to tell you while we're cramped up in the house, that's for sure. How about we go out for a bit? My college is practically in the middle of nowhere, so now I'm never near the city like you. I was thinking we could drive into downtown or something and check out the bookstore and get lunch. There's been a book I've been wanting for a while, and catching up is always better with good food. What do you say? I couldn't help but smile as I listened to her speak a minute a mile, or a mile a minute. It's still good to know that she's the same old Morgan. I was worried she would treat me differently. All right, let me grab my keys and we'll go. Yes! Woohoo! Day on the town. This looks good. Let's park here. The voice that I'm trying to do for her is not very consistent, so I apologize. Sorry, Morgan. I want to do something more high-pitched, but then my voice is apparently tired today, so apologies. We pulled into a parking spot a bit away from the bookstore, but not far enough where it'd be a hassle to walk. As we walked in the front doors, we were greeted by the cool, soft breeze of the air conditioner. Ooh, the library. The smell of books was enough to bring a smile to my face. We had gone to one of the bigger locations in town, and you could just tell by how large and vast the rows and rows of books were. Ooh, this background looks nice. I feel like I remember it, but not really. Morgan giggled a bit, pulling me out of my thoughts. What happened? No, nothing. I was just thinking about how you've not changed a bit. This sort of thing always excited you, didn't it, you little bookworm? Yeah, I guess so. Speaking of, I wonder if they have a new issue of Mindless Midnight by Snakes. Oh, I think I see the book I wanted. Mind waiting for a minute? Not at all. Go on. I'll just wander around the comics section for a bit. I smiled and waved her away, ensuring I would be perfectly fine to be alone for a few moments. She gave me a nod before hurriedly scurrying over to the new arrival section. Now, let's see. I let my feet carry me along the section as my eyes scanned the titles as I passed them. Mark Me, Midday Murder. Mark Me, Midday Murder. Ah! Sorry, I was like, is that the title of one book? But it seems like it's two books. Ah, found it. Don't mind me. I noticed the last copy of Mindless Midnight on the shelf and went to grab it, but a blonde man in glasses beat me to it, grabbing the book above it. Hello, blonde man with glasses. He then remained stationary, blocking the section as he flipped through the pages, oblivious to the world around him. I'm not going to spoil who this is, but it's so good to see him. So good to see you, sir. Okay, I'm fine. Ugh, he's kind of in the way. I'm going to ask him to move. I need that comic right now. Ask him to move. He looked a bit absorbed in the book, but I was a woman on a mission. Excuse me, do you mind if I get past you? I wanted to look at that one. Look at one of these books. Oh, My apologies. He stepped aside without another word, giving me just enough space to grab my book from the shelf and begin flipping through the pages. We stood in silence, looking at our own books for a few moments, but I had that uncanny feeling that I was being watched. Curiously, I stole a glance at the man beside me out of the corner of my eye. Huh, I knew it. I wonder why he's staring, though. Excuse me. I snapped my head in his direction, finally feeling a bit surprised he was the first to speak up. Yes? Is that book any decent? I was considering picking it up the last time I was here, but it was rented out. If it's any good, I thought I'd better put my name on the wait list. Personally, I love it. Though I'm not sure if it fits your type. I gave him a once-over with a small smile, causing him to give me a bit of an amused, challenging look. And what, pray tell, is my type? Oh, well, it's a bit of a rom-com, so unless you're into that... I guess they must have played up the action scenes a bit much then. Just a bit. We smiled and softly laughed with one another at our exchange. Eventually I heard Morgan's voice calling out to me. Danielle, where are you? Over here. I placed the book back onto the shelf as she made her way over with a smile, looking between us curiously. Oh, did you make a new friend? Of a sort, I suppose. I see you found your book. Yeah, I got one of the last copies. Are you ready to go, or should I give you guys some time? Nope, I'm ready if you are. I turned back to the man and gave him a polite smile. Enjoy the books. If I see you again, you'll have to let me know if you decided to pick it up. I will. Stay safe, ladies. The town can get a bit rough at night lately. This man with his glasses. Okay, not spoiling who this is. Okay. But I love his outfit so much. So sorry. If you know, you know. You tend to like certain love interests, potentially. Maybe he's not a love interest. I don't know. Okay, anyways. Later. More details will be provided later. We will. Thanks. The man waved us goodbye before returning to his book, and Morgan eagerly ushered me towards the exit. We noticed the weather became much cooler than it was earlier, so we decided to walk to the cafe rather than having to repark the car. Good thing the cafe is close. It's nice to just enjoy the atmosphere anyway. Yeah, walking's really good. I love walking outside. Hopefully it's not too hot. So, tell me, Morgan, how are you and your man doing? I gave her a good-natured eyebrow wiggle, expecting her to excitedly tell me all of the new information, as she always has. She and her boyfriend, Mitchell, had been together since her freshman year of college and were basically joined at the hip ever since. She normally was full of news stories to share about their trips and adventures, but today, she just seemed downcast at my comment, her eyes following her feet along the pavement. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, actually. We kinda broke up. Oh no. Kinda? As in on a break, or kinda as in fully broken up? Bull. I gave her a sympathetic smile and pulled her into a side hug as we walked. Her mood seemed to lighten a bit. It was just... I'm not sure. We spent a lot of time apart ever since he joined his new gaming group. And maybe it was for the best. I'm not sure. Compliment? Well, Miss Aspel, you are gorgeous and can get any man or woman you please. It's his loss. You did your best, but some people never know what they truly have until they've lost it. I know if it were me, I'd just be thankful to have someone so smart and beautiful to care about me as much as you did him. I slid my hand into hers, happily swinging it between us once. Plus, you've always got me. Morgan, ... Her cheeks immediately went red at my sudden praise, obviously unsure as to what to say. You all right, Morgan? Morgan shook her head her head a bit as she laughed softly, looking away. The blushing. Oh, hush. I'm just not used to you being nice. Hey, I'm always nice. We enjoyed the moment with one another, each of us laughing at our usual banter before a silence eventually fell over us again. Not wanting the upbeat mood to stop, I I began trying to think of things to do or say to cheer her up or break the silence. As if on cue, I noticed two good-looking men in suits walk over our way. A smirk crept onto my face as a mischievous idea popped into my head. Mission: make Morgan laugh. I quietly gestured to the two men who were slowly approaching us and leaned over to whisper in her ear. Don't look now, but I think I see two potential new boyfriends for you. Huh? What? I shushed her and bumped her shoulder with mine, not wanting the men to hear now that they were in earshot. I saw her mouth part slightly as she not so subtly eyed them in passing. The men seemed to be absorbed in their conversation, with the somewhat older-looking blonde man teasing the black-haired one. Blonde-haired man. Come on, Junior. Work with me here. It's just a double date. Unless... Don't tell me. You not wanting to go because you haven't even had your first kiss yet. Oh man, Junior, you're breaking my heart. I pressed my lips into a thin line to avoid laughing at the loud, over-exaggerated display. The blonde seemed to have a penchant for dramatics, if this is how he always was. Stop calling me Junior, please. The black-haired man looked totally done and spaced out, as if he lacked the energy to fight back. This only earned a surprised expression from the blonde. Whoa, not even denying it? New record. Charging. Need to find my charger. As our two groups passed, I briefly locked eyes with one of them, who was quick to look away. Okay, that's gone. Bye. We waited for a few moments until they passed us, and then Morgan was the first to speak excitedly. Did you see that? The black-haired one totally eyed you up. Oh, shut it. I'm surprised you could see anyone looking anywhere with how you ogled the other one. What? He was hot. We both bursted into laughter when we made eye contact. For once in a long time, I had no worries or anxiety. Today will definitely be a good day. I can feel it. Oh, look! Since when has there been an arcade here? I turned my attention to where she was pointing excitedly and let her drag me over by my arm sleeve. Not sure. Let's check it out. We have some time to kill still before we should head back home. Yes. Let's do it. As we walked in, the sci-fi sounds of the arcade hit us, mixed with the smell of pizza and other cheap confectionery. Just looking at all the machines they had available was exciting, and now it was my turn to drag Morgan by the arm. Let's go! Let's go. Look at the little teddy bears. We spent the next hour or so playing a variety of games. I hadn't played since I was little, and my random streak of luck only fueled my earlier hype. Yes! I win again! I can't believe you won like 10 games so far. I remember you always being bad at these. I couldn't help but laugh at her comment and feigned pout. I am bad at these games. Whatever you say. I sat the game stick down and moved to link arms with her, a habit we had formed in middle school, never one without the other. We bobbed and weaved through people and machines, looking for anything that might interest us. You know, I was really worried about this trip. But today with you here, I felt really good about it all. I think I was really worried about nothing. What I'm trying to say is, I'm grateful to have you. Morgan gave me a wide smile and opened her mouth to speak. But it was cut off by her rumbling stomach as we passed the concession stand, causing her to blush and laugh at herself. You know, I'm starving. How about we head out to that cafe now? That way we can talk without all this noise. I nodded in agreement. We began walking back toward the entrance, speeding up as I felt my own stomach start to growl. You know, I just can't leave you here. Says who? Antonio. As we were walking, we approached a tall black-haired man arguing with a shorter blonde. They appeared to be about the same age, but the blonde seemed especially focused on his game and not keen to leave any time soon. And when have I cared what he thinks? In passing, I noticed the black-haired man giving a stern look to the shorter one, causing the blonde to roll his eyes and groan begrudgingly. Fine, after this game. I felt myself smile at their exchange as we finally made it out of the arcade. Bye. Bye, guys. Wonder if they're brothers. Having siblings would have been nice. After another brief walk, we finally made it to the cafe. The smells wafting out of the place was enough to make our mouths water. We rushed to the door. As we got close, though... Oh shit. I'm sorry. I stared at the red-haired man in shock. He had practically barreled down the street, accidentally knocking Morgan flat on her ass. His hair and clothes were slightly disheveled, with a glistening sheen across his forehead. The man looked to have been in a rush. That's no excuse, though. I began to open my mouth to say some very colorful things to him, but I cut myself off. Morgan was blushing. Are you serious right now? I am so sorry. I was running late and wasn't paying any attention. Are you all right? Yeah. What else to say? Her blush darkened as he helped her to her feet, but he didn't waste another second after her confirmation to scurry away in a light jog. What an ass. Are you okay? Oh, yeah. Just a bit of dirt. She laughed a bit, brushing herself off before heading inside. Hurry, I'm starving. Okay, we're finally getting food. We both joined the order queue and looked at the menu board, but I couldn't help but notice how packed this place is getting. At this rate, we won't have an open seat. Go save us... can you go save us a seat? I'll order. You sure? Yeah, no worries. Cool. I want the tuna sandwich, okay? Thanks. She called over her shoulder, moving to go claim the nicer seat by the window that was more secluded compared to the others. The next patron finished their order and moved out of the way, allowing me to approach the kiosk. Hello, miss. What can we get for you today? Hi, can I please get a tuna sandwich with an iced tea, and then the vegetable soup with a soda? Absolutely. Can I have a name for the order? Sure, it's Danielle. The waiter frowned a bit as he typed the name into the system. I'm sorry. Looks like we already have an order for Danielle. Can I have a last name instead? Oh, no worries. Scarletta. The waiter seemed to freeze momentarily, his eyes slowly moving up to meet mine. Danielle Scarletta. Powerful name you got there. The way he said that is making me super uncomfortable. Yeah, it is very weird. Sorry? I'm not sure what you mean. The waiter simply shook his head with a smile. Forgive me, I was talking about the bistro. Scarletta Bistro. One of the best restaurants in the city. I heard it belonged to a prominent family in Portella and thought maybe your name sounded familiar. Never mind, though. Gotcha. I hurriedly paid and collected my receipt, not wanting to prologue the awkward silence. Shortly after my name was called, I grabbed the tray with our orders on it and brought it over to where Morgan was waiting. Not wasting another moment, we began devouring our food. Once we had cleared our plates and only had our drinks left, we finally had the chance to unwind and chat uninterrupted. You know, Danielle, today has been crazy. I swear I was never this busy when I still lived here. She's kind of right. I feel like today has been kind of unusual. I actually agree. When I go out, I normally never talk to people or deal with all the strange things happening. Maybe you're just a weirdo magnet. Oh, am I? Must be why you're my best friend, then. That's funny. We both laughed at her retort, and I placed a hand over my heart. Ow! Okay, fair, but ow. It's nice to see you having fun, Danielle. Oh, now you go all sappy on me? Shush, you. I'm just saying. I'm glad I helped you get your mind off things, even for a little. Morgan smiled at me with pure sincerity shining through her eyes, not even a hint of playfulness in her voice. The sight made my heart squeeze. What would I do without her? I reached across the table, taking her hand in mine with a gentle squeeze. Thanks for everything. I've actually been able to relax and enjoy today, even despite Grandpa's trip. It's been a much nicer day than I could have expected. Hey, that's what friends are for. Actually, speaking of... Chit-chat, and now it's dark outside because time has passed. After talking for a while, a shadow cast upon us. A quick look out the window, and it was obvious we had been talking for much longer than we thought. I thought back to what the blonde man from the bookstore told us, and a cold shiver ran down my spine. We should probably head back to the car. I don't want to get caught walking through town when it's too dark. Yeah, good idea. We got up from our seats and threw away our garbage, noticing most of the patrons had already left, and some staff began cleaning. Must almost be closing time. Excuse me. I turned to see the waiter who took our order standing behind us with a customer service smile. Hello, ladies. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Would you allow me to walk you to your car? This part of town isn't all that safe at night. I eyed him suspiciously, suddenly reaching to my side to take Morgan's hand. Thank you, but, we're all right. We didn't park far. Lie better. We're going to meet up with our friends. They're waiting for us. The waiter's smile never faltered, and he simply nodded his head. All right, then. Stay safe and have a good night, girls. I don't like that. Whatever. He's creepy. Everything about this situation burned my body in unease, all of my nerves screaming at my brain to get out of here. You too. Gosh. I pulled Morgan with me outside, walking briskly in the direction of where we parked. It's gonna be a 15-minute walk or so. We're further than we thought we'd be. Hey, you gonna let me go now? Morgan laughed, causing me to slow down and pull myself from my thoughts. I quickly dropped her hand and shot her a sheepish smile. Sorry, the guy was being a bit weird. I didn't want him to follow us. It keeps getting darker and darker, too. Oh. Who? Oh, why are you here? I fucking knew it. We've been walking for like 5 minutes now. He definitely followed us. Dude, we don't want your number or anything. Leave us alone. I don't bite, though. I slowly backed away with Morgan behind me, watching as he kept approaching us. I moved to turn and ignore him, but then he caught my wrist with a tight squeeze, making it almost impossible for me to break away. Ow! Let go! You're hurting me! Leave us alone, asshole! He smirked as he watched me try and pry his hand away, only causing his grip to tighten even more. My wrist felt like it could break with one wrong move. He then reached to his side to grab something, and that was when I saw it. The knife. Try not to squirm, doll. I'd hate to cut ya. Sorry for this, but your head is worth a pretty penny to the dawn. My throat went dry as dread filled my senses, causing me to freeze up. My gaze immediately shifted to Morgan, who looked as pale as I felt. Would I die here? Would they spare Morgan? And who the hell is Dawn? Fair, I don't know. The next second, he let go, his face contorting in pain. Morgan had stomped on his foot as hard as she could, buying me a way to escape his grasp, but the shock hadn't fully worn off yet. Thankfully, his scream had brought me to my senses a bit. Yeah, scream all you want, sir. We gotta go, Morgan. We gotta run. That's right, we gotta run. I felt myself being grabbed again, this time with much less force as I was dragged away into a sprint. The night only seemed to descend upon us quicker and quicker as we ran, desperate to escape. My heart was beating out of my chest, adrenaline pumping through my system. I didn't even need to look behind us to know he was following us, and fast. Okay, gotta keep running. Oh my gosh, we're in a really weird alleyway. As we rounded a corner, I noticed an alley and pulled us into it without a second thought. Hopefully, this would shake him off our trail. The loss of visual would only buy us a few seconds, though. Fuck. What do we do now? Hide? We've got to hide. I held a finger up to my mouth as I pulled Morgan along with me, shuffling along as quickly and quietly as we possibly could. Not long after, we could hear footsteps approaching the alleyway entrance. I pulled us behind a dumpster and moved a few cardboard boxes in front of us to obscure us from view. Morgan sniffled a bit as we held each other tightly, each of us shaking like a leaf, knowing that this could be the end for one or both of us, or worse. As the footsteps entered the alley, we could hear him looking around and kicking a few things. He began checking a few corners. I felt my breath hitch in my throat as he walked closer, and I put a hand over Morgan's mouth. I whispered to her as quietly as humanly possible, "Don't breathe." We both held our breaths as he finally stood in front of the cardboard boxes which hid us behind the dumpster. This is it. Fucking brats. The man screamed in frustration, kicking the metal dumpster as hard as he could, only making him swear more from the pain. It took everything in me not to jump or make a noise at his sudden movements. The boss is gonna kill me. We heard him walk away while grumbling to himself. We waited an extra moment before finally allowing ourselves to breathe. Let's get the fuck out of here. I whispered to her as we locked eyes, her horrified expression no doubt matching my own. We carefully made our way back to the car with our senses on high alert. The second we get in, I locked the doors and sped off towards home, but not without making a few purposeful wrong turns to ensure we weren't followed. And then we call Grandpa. And he's even bothered by it more, but I must go now. I have to be somewhere. But isn't that crazy? I'm going to leave us on a bit of a cliffhanger for this first part, just because there's still a bit more to go for the prologue, and we got through a good chunk of the prologue anyways. But I'm glad to see that Danielle and Morgan are safe, but we're going to just see what Grandpa thinks and what exactly is all going to happen because of this. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying this part of Daughter of a Scoundrel, rather. And if you like the video, please press the like button. And if you'd like to see more of Daughter of a Scoundrel, then feel free to subscribe and press the bell for notifications. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!